Hi, I'm Kay Lewis.
And I'm Ricky Alexander.
Welcome to On the Back Porch Season 4. We're super excited today to have Gordon Owl, a wonderful trumpetist. He's the band leader of the Grand Street Stompers and the Red Pavilion Jazz Band. He's a native of Sacramento, but he developed his sound during his stay in New Orleans. He studied and performed with some of the most amazing musicians like Herbie Hancock, Wayne Shorter, George Benson, and many others. Let's go talk to him. You grew up in Sacramento, California, which is known for its big trad jazz scene. Did you experience any of that scene during your time there?
So my uncle, Howard Miata, so even before I was born, he was playing trad jazz with this great jazz band called the High Sierra Jazz Band. And they would play at, the annual festival over in Sacramento, which at that time was the Sacramento Jazz Jubilee, and it claimed to be the largest live music festival in the world, wow. Which is a believable claim because they would have, hundreds of bands from all over the world. Like there'd be Japanese trad jazz bands there. But the society that ran that festival also had like a monthly meeting locally where they had one room in particular where anyone could come and just jam. They called it the Woodshed Room. And so when I was in middle school, after I'd been playing, a cornet for like a year and a half, then I started attending those meetings and learning, some of the old trad jazz standards from, a bunch of basically old men with white hair, a few old ladies there.
When I'm playing in your band and your really cool charts, you're pulling from some really cool modern sounds, but it's really got this, danceable and deeply rooted in the tradition sound as well. How do you balance yourself between your modern jazz identity and your traditional jazz identity?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it's something I'm always trying to rebalance and reevaluate. Maybe one of your most important goals as an artist should be to play music and create music that just moves you, that affects you. And then you have the faith that music will also speak to other people. So that's kind of your your fundamental emotional barometer is doing something that moves you yourself. So that's kind of my bottom line, is trying to make music that I enjoy and that, speaks to me. And for me, that trumps stylistic considerations and some stylistic limitations. I've spent a lot of time studying and playing at kind of both ends of the jazz spectrum. And one thing that's shown me, I guess, insofar as I really enjoy both of those things, and I enjoy, studying those ends has given me a greater appreciation for kind of the unique elements of each of those. And then, as you know, in my band, sometimes I enjoy taking elements from like one end and mixing it into the other and doing some fusions. But one of the things that illustrates for me is that the more you know about the different styles of jazz, it basically richens your artistic palette that's available to you. And it also makes available to you more informed choices.
Can you talk about some of your compositions and the premise behind them? I'm thinking about the song about the bus. I'm thinking about
Oh,
a song
yes.
about the different time signature or something like that.
Yeah, well, I guess some of that, some of those were drawn from, I guess, assignments that I had at Berklee College of Music or at the Monk Institute. The closest thing to like a master's thesis paper that I, wrote while I was there was a big paper on basically computer composed music. And not in the sense of the AI that is around nowadays. It was almost like different sources of musical inspiration that could be somehow automated and made into music. So one thing was like you could just take, kind of random numbers. Like you could take the digits of pi and transpose them into notes. But then you get something that is inherently random, right? But you can also do something that is kind of like in between random and ordered. Like if you look at and again, the very nerdy aside, but if you look at like the microstructure of crystals, like there's a certain logic to their growth in that there's an internal symmetry, but it's also random at the same time. That song you were mentioning of mine, I have a song called The Ballad of Bus 38, where the melodic motif from it comes from the 6-digit MTI bus time code that was at the bus stop near where I lived at the time. Yeah, I have this little quirk where sometimes I'll try to memorize a number by converting it into pitches. Mm-hmm. And it just so happens that the melodic conversion of that bus stop code was kind of catchy, and then basically I just turned it into a melody and made that song. But
yeah, it's so cool the way that you're blending, modern jazz and traditional jazz and nature and math with sound. And I'm really excited to hear what you have to play for us today.